Hello everyone, welcome to today's YouTube video. We're going to be discussing some of the game balance changes and some interesting things that got released. I'm sure you guys probably all saw the preliminary update, and then today the update went into effect. So we're going to just talk a little bit about each one. I'll be running some triples we had in last war. Fortunately, all my triples got erased because of the update this morning, but we do have, I think, like 3 or 4 triples I can show in the background while we kind of talk about those game balance changes. So let's go ahead and dive into the first attack, and we'll dive into the first balance change update. Alright guys, so as you can tell, we had the maintenance balance changes today. And the first one we're going to be talking about is the Grand Warden, with the logic being changed to make him less likely to follow dragons and P.E.K.K.A.s. So we're going to talk about that in a second. We did win our war yesterday pretty convincingly, and this was a good attack by Nima, one of our clanmates. It's actually a newer clanmate, so nevertheless, props to him for getting this triple. And so let's talk about the Warden AI. I think we all have had those miserable fails. I personally, because I use a lot of Yeti Blimp and hybrid attacks, know you just can't drop the Warden really anywhere near a ground troop. And also, I was watching some of the CWL matchups today with like alternate attacks and those clans, and one guy ended up doing a drag bat, and believe it or not, the Warden did not follow about 2 drags that strayed off from the army in the beginning because of a Tesla that popped up. So I think that was already a clue to me that this is actually the real deal. I think the last time they said it, it was just kind of a very small adjustment, I'm sure, to the AI, but I definitely saw a big adjustment today on that attack. I thought for sure the Warden was going to go over to the drag, but you know, as far as the Warden going after ground troops, I mean, if a Yeti or P.E.K.K.A. is taking damage, and it's near it, obviously it's going to go after it. I haven't quite tested it to see if the P.E.K.K.A. or the drag has to be in the range of the Warden, but to be safe, I would keep things traditional. I wouldn't be dropping any ground troops or the Warden anywhere near any ground troops. You know, make sure if you're doing a Warden walk, for example, always make sure you get that Inferno down, then you drop the ground troops. Obviously, if you're dropping troops on the other side of the base, say you're dropping the Warden at 3 o'clock, you drop the barracks at 6 o'clock, that's one thing. But if it's only like a 1 or 2 o'clock difference, then you're really risking it still. So, nevertheless, I think that's a good thing that they're focusing on, because honestly, I'm sure there's some really extreme cases where the troop was so far away and the Warden followed it. And I'm sure Supercell got a email sent to them like, what the hell happened here? But this was a nice attack by Nima. It's kind of a old traditional base. Seeing a lot of that in these wars. I don't know why, but we just are. So let's go ahead and dive into the next update balance change, and we'll show you guys another triple. Alright guys, so we have here on the screen at the bottom the second balance change, and I think this is by far the biggest and most important one. And it's the level 7 single beam Inferno Tower. Damage per second will be reduced by 100. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more as I play a attack in the background. And we're going to be watching Bomb, one of our clanmates, drop a triple here with the Queen Walk Hybrid. And so the level 7 Inferno, which is obviously the max Inferno, we're seeing a tremendous amount of single Infernos up at the higher levels, the higher clans, legend leagues. I mean, they're outnumbering multis by a tremendous amount. So here's how I think it's going to help. First of all, I think it's going to help the queen walks drastically, because I think that buying that extra, say second, could mean the difference between your queen getting the Inferno, or having to burn her ability. So that's a huge thing. Second of all, let's imagine it's the world champ. We all know that sometimes the world champ encounters ground skellies when engaging with a single Inferno. Most pros are putting their skelly traps, ground skellies around their single Infernos to make those types of things happen to the world champ. So, needless to say, I like the fact that this is going to buy the world champ just maybe a second more. And we all know the world champ, most of the time, the world champ comes down to like a second. So, that's going to be awesome. It's definitely, I think this is going to boost the triple chances for a lot of queen walkers, a lot of queen walk attacks. I would say, Yetis are going to probably be a little bit more OP now because the damage on the Yetis is going to be less. So in a sense, I'm not sure if I like that because I use all different types of attack strategies, but I think Hybrid is, and Yeti Smash are one of the most popular ones, and I do think Hybrid requires a little bit more skill than Yeti Smash per se. If you look at players from Alternate Attacks or Itsu, a lot of them are using Hybrid. So, but overall, I think this was a really good update. It's definitely going to help the heroes. It's going to help the tanky troops like the Yetis, even bowlers, and it could even help the lavas. When it comes to Sui Lao or Queen Walk Lalo, we might see the lava stay alive a little bit longer. So that was a nice attack by Bomb, coming in with the triple and the hybrid. And let's go ahead and dive into the next update. Alright, hey everyone. So we're gonna actually combine these next two, the final two, in this last attack, and let's go over them real quick. We got the Super Wall Breaker Explosion radius will be reduced from 2 to 1.6 tiles, and we have the level 7 skeleton spell spawns will increase from 16 to 17 skeletons. So we got Super Wall Breakers and the skeletons. Let's go ahead and watch an attack. And I think this was, Reaper coming in with the triple. Alright, so he's using E-Drags. Great strategy here on his base. Very compact. And the Air Sweepers are kind of pointing away from the Town Hall. Plus, this guy's using multis. So, we'll start off with the first one. The first one was going to be Super Wall Breakers. What I think is going to happen is the radius is obviously from 2 to 1.6 now, which is almost a 25% decrease in radius. So this is going to make it, I think, more difficult for essentially a random wall break in from like a mile away. I think you might have to use a tanky troop, like a giant, or even like a barb, just to get the wall breaker in a little bit further. And also, if the guy has a lot of giant bombs or a double bomb, hopefully that almost honestly prevents it. Maybe the player is trying to prevent that kind of thing from happening. The second one was the skeleton spawn. So I personally don't use a ton of skeletons except for maybe Sui Lalo or Queen Walk Lalo. But I think this is really helpful. I think it's going to bring skeleton bombs back a little bit. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Sometimes if you have like the queen and the CC and say the world champ all in one compartment, you can do a skeleton spell bomb. You drop like, say, 5 or 6 skeleton spells under a rage, and you'll wipe out the CC, you'll wipe out the queen and the world champ. So literally, you don't even have to worry about any heroes targeting your loons or drags, etc. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the pros kind of bring that back, but at the same time, I don't think it was enough. I think, I don't know, I still think they probably could have maybe added one more Skelly, or Skelly to spawn, or make him a little bit stronger. But nevertheless, it's always helpful for them to update things that aren't being used as much. So Reaper coming in with the triple on the E-Drags, a little bit closer than I think he would have liked, with the Warden being the only troop left. But nevertheless, it was a triple. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you know, we talked about all 4 of the new updates, how they're gonna help, how they're not gonna help, and definitely would like to hear you guys' feedback in the comment section. If you guys have any other you know, rationale behind what balance change is going to do the most and what's not going to do the most, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. But it wasn't a huge update, so again, I just want to kind of briefly talk about it, show you guys some triples from last war, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.